Welcome to Fear and Greed Sunday Feature. I'm Michael Thompson. Today's interview is with the founder of an Australian company, and it's a company that's actually quite close to Fear and Greed's heart because we still use some of their products. Rode is an audio company producing, among other things, microphones and a product called the Rodecaster, an all-in-one mixing desk. The business itself has been around for a long time, but as podcasts have taken off, so has Rode to become an international success. It is owned by Peter Freedman and believed to be worth around $1.5 billion now. Peter spoke to Sean Aylmer back in February of 2021. Now, keep in mind, this is when every second person in the world was starting their own podcast, including us, and nearly every one of those was using, or so it seemed, a Rode mic. I hope you enjoy it.
Of course, I'd say this, but audio is booming right now. Podcasts have exploded in popularity, and more people are setting up home studios to record their music, news and stories. Even the quality of the sound in our video calls has improved dramatically. An Australian company has been at the forefront of it all, setting a standard for audio globally. Rode microphones are everywhere at the moment. In fact, the microphone I'm using right now is a Rode microphone. And the best part is, they're manufactured right here in Australia. Peter Freedman is the founder of Rode Microphones and is my guest today. Peter, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be with you.
Take me through the Rode story. Your father started Freedman Electronics as a shopfront more than 50 years ago. What's happened since then?
Yeah, that's right. Mum and Dad, we all came out from Sweden. I was born in Stockholm. Then we came here in 1966. My mum and dad had the thought of starting a sound company, and it was the first pro sound company in Australia, in Ashfield in Sydney. They had the agency for a brand called Dynacord, which was the absolute top live performance gear. So, yeah, and I remember all that. That was 1967. They kicked off the shop there, Freedman Electronics.
It's been an incredible journey since that time. It's been said that we're in a golden age of audio. As podcasts take off, musicians can do more recording at home, and even radio audiences are booming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic time to be involved in any kind of media, whether it's music, podcasting, video for your own film, everything, and students, even very very young kids now, are learning how to edit, know what green screen is. Even 6-year-olds are doing, and podcasts. The CEO here, his daughter, she does podcasting, and she's 10, 11 years old. This is fantastic. I love it. Nothing about business. I just enjoy seeing people being able to interact with this. It's a fantastic thing because it's my life.
Wonderful. If you go back from the late 60s in the Freedman Electronics store, it's clear you've got a passion for the business. What made you move into microphone design and manufacture yourself?
That came from getting into financial difficulty. I sort of worked with my father very early on, and I used to leave school and come to the shop there in Summerhill as a very young child. And then my dad sadly got sick. About 1969, he started getting heart problems, angina, that kind of thing. So he was always either in hospital or having problems, and I had to step up, which at the time, you don't think about it. You just do it. As I've said many times, is as if you're in a milk bar situation and somebody calls shop and you run out there and you serve them. So, yeah, I was doing that a lot, even as a teenager. Years went by, I was doing more and more. I left school around 16 and took over. Dad was still there holding me back, which was good because I was a nut and I would have done some really stupid things. That waited until later. He passed away in 87. I was 29. And everybody who knows the late 80s remembers how terrible financial situation got at the end. And I ended up with about $400,000 or $500,000 in debt, and with penalties of 22% interest. Yeah, you're not going to get out of that. So I didn't go bankrupt, but I lost everything and moved from my father's shop to a place in Rydalmere. And yeah, I was beyond depressed, I got to tell you, because I'd smashed my family's company into the wall. It was really terrible. So I was basically just looking for anything to sell. But I had this sampled microphone from China I'd bought in 81, and it was like just a cheap copy of a Neumann 1-inch capsule thing, noisy as anything. Cost me about $8, I think, at the time. And I just, it's not live performance, nothing to do with me. But I kept it. I managed to, there's a friend of mine in the UK, sadly passed away now, Colin Hill, very, very good salesman. He came to Australia around that time, we had a drink. he's saying, "Oh, I'd love to live here. I always wanted to live." And I thought, yeah, I need somebody like you. So I offered him a job. And about 6 weeks later, he was in Sydney. And that was perfect for me because I could focus on the tech, and he loved getting out, talking to people. And I gave him this mic and I said, see if we can sell them because I can get them. And he comes back after a couple of days on the road and says, "Oh, there's a lot of interest in this." And this was at the beginning of the home recording revolution, which was digital. Before that, it was cheap tape or like Portadats tape, or if you were lucky, you had a half-inch 8-track or 4-track rather. But now you could do an ADAT, which was that on VHS tape, digital recording. And that, what do they need? They need good mics. And it's either a $5,000 Neumann or nothing. And I modified these things. They sounded all right. And I could sell them retail for $500. Now,
that's a good markup.
Yeah. Well, it's not that, because the biggest money is made by the dealer, by the way, not by us, So, after we brought them in, and of course we'd done the packaging and we modified the boards and we did all that, we made our good margin. But the stores and the distributors internationally, they're the ones who make the margin, that's the way it should be. They're working hard at it.
That's an incredible story to that point. How did you go from that early imported and modified microphone to developing your own?
It's like the old 30 years of overnight success. So it's just slogging away at it, and still in trouble, but selling 10, 20, 30. I got photos of us, checking a group of 10 mics and packing them. But the real break came when I went to the States. I was still in huge trouble. I'd lost my house, 2 little kids. Got a ticket to LA. Used to go to the music show there in Anaheim near Disneyland, and I did it all on a credit card. And this one was, if I don't sell anything, I can't get home. It was that kind of tough. Walking the streets because I couldn't really afford a rental car. Knocked back a lot, which is really good for your resilience, I suppose. But West LA Music was the name of the store. It had been around forever. And there was a guy called Mark Spiewak. Sadly, he's passed away as well. But I gave him the pitch. I was there for a long time. At the end, he said, "Oh, well, let's plug it in." And I plugged it in, and it didn't work. It was broken. The blood runs out of my face, and I think, well, that's the end of that after all the costs and all the, pitching, etc. But he said, "Look, man, I can tell, this is real. This is going to be good. The pitch is right. We know it's just an unlucky thing." And they ordered 100 off me. I was crying, actually. It was, and even one of the sales guys, Noel Gould, who's now a politician, I believe, over there, bought the first one. I kept one of the dollars from that sale. But yeah, we were off. I couldn't supply 100 because we didn't have them, and they wanted to pay me with a US check, which was even funnier because I'm not going to be able to bank that. But I knew I had something because in the States, has always been, you can't supply them anything. They sell product with profit lower than you can buy the parts normally. So to be able to have something that they want, well, you got something. I just knew it.
That's a great story, and I get the sense there's a lot more to tell. Stay with me, Peter. We'll be right back. I'm talking to Peter Freedman, the founder of Rode Microphones. Looking to where we are now and the year we've just come through, just how big was 2020 for the Rode business?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel embarrassed to say it because people are doing it real tough, but monstrous. It was incredible growth. Although I've got to say to you, 20 years ago, we had ups and downs and people saying, "Oh, well, there's seasonal things in any business and you've got to have it so you're prepared that it's going to be down for a while and it comes back up again." And, I got really tough in the end. I go, "No, I'm not interested in that. We're not having a bad month. We're going to do whatever it takes." So we make budget every month. And you know what? I haven't had a bad month since. You make it happen. And so we keep growing. We've been on this upward trajectory. Certainly the last year was up, mind-blowing, because of podcasting. We got the number one podcasting console in the world, the Rodecaster Pros, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them. And so what did people do during 2020? I thought, well, I might get into podcasting.
We did. We were one of them.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's worldwide. It's the number one, and it's more and more and more, and the mics and all this sorts of gear. So that was spectacular. And that's, it's pushed the growth of podcasting, actually, which is I'm very proud of. And, that product came up with it because people are asking me, what do I need to do a podcast? I'm thinking, you need a mixer and you need a compressor limiter and you need a Bluetooth device and you need that. No, you're not going to be able to run it for a start. And that's about $20,000. So I thought, well, here's an opportunity. And that's how we do everything. We make gear that we want to buy too, by the way. It makes it pretty simple. Now, we put untold millions into this development and continue to do so. So if you weren't selling hundreds of thousands, well, they would be a very expensive piece of audio gear. That's the beauty of mass production, isn't it? If you try to make one iPhone, it would be the size of a house and cost $100 million. I mean, forget it. And they're still expensive. But along with that, of course, we also, the people who do film, video, there's a lot of that going on. Even the ones limited to being able to go outside, well, they were doing that. We've got the world's largest film comp, of course, to drive that and help people as well. So across the board, it's been great. Very, very good.
How important is it to you that Rode microphones are manufactured locally?
Well, I'm very, very proud of it because people kept on telling me that you can't make anything here. So we've certainly proved that wrong 100 times over. And with machinery, I mean, we've got a massive plating and anodizing and all that line, which we've spent about 18 million on it. It's yet to come online, but it's going to. And I've been told for the last 20 years you can't do that in Australia either. So it's kind of like a red rag to a bull. If you say that to me, I'm going to prove you wrong. You can do anything. Yeah, but, it doesn't make the product sell. Like people buy that over something else because it's Aussie. No, of course not. They don't care. We got a lot of local support. People are proud of it. But at the end of the day, people will buy the best product for the best price as long as the service is all there. You got to have all that. You're there. Now, we do that and it's made here. Now, that's pretty cool.
You export a lot of products all around the world. Where do you see the most demand coming from?
If it wasn't for export, we wouldn't be in business. That's why I went to the States, because I wanted to crack that. And, we're super strong there. We've got our own team, have had for 25 years. It's just a warehouse and sales and service, but it's a big team. And then internationally, all the other countries you could name, I think 117, that we're super strong in, and then the smaller ones are held by them. We've got distributors. But our growth sort of push now is into China, which is still, it's been good for us, but it's really getting good. Malaysia, Indonesia, that's a really big area. But India is my target because, and with the free trade agreement, I know it's taking a little bit of time, but when that drops, you can imagine the broadcast requirement there. How many podcasts, Rodecaster Pros do you think are going to be sold in India? People run around with an iPhone and that's an outside broadcast camera. And we make all that gear. And that's one of the biggest markets in the world. I think it could easily surpass the States for us.
Now, this is a personal opinion, but I think your products are really well designed. They're beautiful to look at and very functional to use. Is the design of your equipment as important as the function?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm involved with the Australian Good Design Awards and Council, and design it's a broad term, isn't it? So it's something that's got to be fit for purpose. Right? You can have innovative design, something innovative, and it's got a 9-headed teapot. Well, I don't want it. Do you? So it's innovative. So it's actually got to be something that actually gives benefit to someone, and then it does that really, really cleverly, makes it easy for people to use, and then it's got to be beautiful to look at as well. There's a lot of things there: form, function, fit for purpose. All these things come together. And I think we're pretty good at it, But I will always, when I'm involved with the company, and the rest of the team does as well, what's the first thing? As if we're making a racing car. Get the chassis right, the engine, it handles, it corners, it brakes, the engine's got the power, and then we'll skin it in a really sexy suit, or dress, whatever you want to call it.
I like that. In 2016, you were awarded the Order of Australia for services to export and philanthropy in the arts. There are a lot of examples of your philanthropy. You recently gave $5 million to the Sydney Festival. That's the largest ever donation in its history. Why did you do that?
Well, I mean, the company and myself personally have been very fortunate in the last few years. And it's my responsibility, in my opinion, to give back, put my money where my mouth is. And the entertainers, musicians, the arts have given my family everything we have. And if I didn't give back now, I'd be a pretty low human being, I think. I certainly don't need anything. So I'm going to continue to support people who've supported me.
Can you tell me about the $9 million guitar you bought? It's an incredible story.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. A friend of mine, his name's Darren Julian, owns a very big number one Julian's Auctions in Beverly Hills. Never look it up, by the way, because you'll find something you want. It's spectacular. It's amazing. Anyway, he messages me and says, oh, we've got Kurt Cobain's acoustic guitar from that Unplugged gig coming up. And it was like, oh, man, don't tell me that. But it was perfect for something I've been planning to do, and that's a foundation to help musicians, entertainers, the arts around the world. Because this recent thing, of course, with COVID, everything's shut down. There's no money. There's no wage support. There's been no mental health support. Nothing. People have been looking for food handouts all over the world. Of course, that's got to change. You just can't have it. There's been no JobKeeper, Saver, that kind of stuff. And in other countries, zero. So through this, I thought, okay, I can highlight the struggle of people worldwide in our industry. We all love to go and see a show. Now it's time to think about them when they're not gigging, when they are in trouble. And that's why I bought it. And it's actually scared me a bit because I was living in the States in 2020. I was there nearly all year. I got 2.5 billion people, and it's a minor estimate, worldwide seeing it. So me, the guitar, the whole story. Now, I knew it was going to be successful, but not that successful. And it kind of freaked me out as well. But yeah, the press was certainly spectacular. And from that, it's a vehicle for us to do some good.
Good on you for doing it. It's a terrific initiative. So, 50 years so far, where to next for Road? What will the next 50 years look like?
Well, I won't be here. It's funny that I would hope it keeps going, but is that ego? Yeah, it probably is. There's a great team here. Everybody's very passionate. The ethos, I hope it's been instilled so that, it's never a plastic kind of company but we make things that people really want, get a benefit out of. And we make things, as I said, that we want to use. This place is full of creative people, whether they're musicians or video editors or filmmakers. So when we're talking about gear that we might make, their eyes light up and they come with ideas because they want it. If that continues, their company will continue forever, whatever forever is. But you have to keep that going. Hopefully that is there, but I can't control things from the grave, can I?
Peter, that's a good place to leave it. Peter Freedman, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
That was Peter Freedman, founder of Rode Microphones.